Most of the time, we are usually concerned about the amount of cholesterol that we're going to take up from our dietary habits. But do you understand that your body makes up 75% to 100% of the total cholesterol? If cholesterol was that bad, will the body be manufacturing it? My name is Lilian Momena. I am a clinical nutritionist, and I am going to take us through a session of understanding cholesterol so that you can be able to control it. First things first, low cholesterol is not always the best. This is because cholesterol has several functions in the body, and that is why if you don't consume it from your diet, your body will manufacture it and make sure that all those functions are well taken care of. Some of the functions of cholesterol are: 1, it is very important in the production and functioning of hormones like the sex hormones, testosterone, the progesterone. It is also very necessary in the production of bile by the liver. It helps in the removal of the excretion waste. This is also very important in emulsification of fats and also the absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins. Bile has several functions. Maybe we can do a video on that. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe so that you get notified when you do that. Cholesterol is important in the maintaining of the normal structure. The cell membrane is made up of cholesterol. It is also important in the brain and cognitive function. Studies have shown that people with low levels of cholesterol usually have high cases of dementia as compared to people with normal or moderate levels of cholesterol, and many other functions. The production of cholesterol follows a particular metabolic pathway. The drugs that lower cholesterol usually interfere with this pathway, so they usually affect other enzymes such as the coenzyme Q10, which is very important in the production of energy. The mitochondria will not be functioning well for people who are taking the statins. If you're taking the statins, it is important that you supplement. When the energy levels are low, the systems or the organs with the most utilization of energy, that is the liver, the brain, the heart, and all that, are the ones who are going to be affected the most with low levels of energy. But we have not said that having high cholesterol is good. No. What I am trying to push is that having a good balance between the high density lipoproteins and the low density lipoprotein is very important. We should aim at increasing the high density lipoproteins and reducing the levels of triglycerides, not the low density lipoproteins. They are perceived as bad because they take cholesterol to the cells, but again, they're taking this cholesterol to the cells because the body and the cells need that for normal functioning. It is not a bad thing. The problem comes in with elevated levels of inflammation and toxicity, poor dietary habits, overconsumption of sugar, over smoking, over drinking, and all this. There will be a lot of inflammation going on. It will lead to production of the small low density lipoproteins, and this is what causes the plaques, the heart attacks, the strokes. Is what is causing the silent death. One thing that you need to understand is that statin does lower the total level of cholesterol in the body, yes, but again, it does not even affect the small low density lipoproteins. There's a small percentage, 1 to 2% of the total population, that have a genetic predisposition of high cholesterol, and this population will definitely need medication to control that. There is no explanation as to why they are usually overproducing cholesterol. If you're not in that bracket, that is the 1 to 2%, before you start on statins, or if you're taking statins, it will be very important and very wise of you to incorporate these tips that I am going to talk about and make sure that your cholesterol levels are well controlled. Now that we have agreed that low is not the best and high is not also the best, let's dive into measures of controlling the levels of cholesterol. For someone with elevated levels of cholesterol, reduce intake of inflammatory foods. Anything that is going to trigger inflammation in your cells, damage your cells, trigger cell death. Eliminate intake of sugars. Continuous intake of fructose has been associated with increased triglyceride level, with increased levels of metabolic disorders. They trigger the bad lipid profile. We want to control intake of fructose because it is bad for your cellular health, your metabolic health, your cholesterol levels. Intake of fructose lowers the high density lipoproteins, increasing levels of triglycerides, and this is bad for your health. There is this aspect of having high levels of bad cholesterol, that is the small density lipoproteins, that there are no symptoms. Maybe you have a genetic history of high blood pressure, high blood sugars, cancers, metabolic disorders. It will be wise for you every once in a while to have your cholesterol levels checked, that you prevent the occurrence of stroke or these sudden deaths that are triggered by accumulation of the small LDLs and you don't know. The other thing on dietary adjustment, increase your intake of fibers, both soluble and insoluble. They help in the digestion, the metabolic system, and this means that your homeostasis balance is well taken care of. Your body is in a position to eliminate, to excrete the excess cholesterol effectively because it binds in the soluble fibers. And apart from that, the soluble fibers, they promote the gut health. The body can self-regulate from these other processes such as oxidative stress. Basically, your body's reaction to foods, environment is very necessary for that to happen. Also increase your intake of fermented foods. You can always ferment your vegetables, your mala here and there. The other thing, people are usually told to reduce intake of fats. You'll tend to eat more of ugali, rice, the chapatis. Overconsumption of carbohydrates, overconsumption of the whole grains and such is not the best for your health. There comes in the problem of obesity. You put on too much weight, your blood sugars will be off. Control the intake of carbohydrates. Make sure that you increase your intake of healthy fats. The MUFAs and the PUFAs are good. They are documented health benefits, but you can also take up healthy saturated fat. What you want to avoid is trans fats. You can take up butter, fatty fish, ghee, meats, chicken, eggs, yolk, fish. They are very good sources of omega-3. They are great for your brain health, heart health. They are also great for increasing levels of high density lipoproteins, and they are also good in reducing levels of the triglycerides, and this helps maintain a healthy balance. We've said that a good one is king. Prepare meals in such a way that you can get the most out of it, the most nutrients. Make sure that your meal prep is as healthy and as less complicated as it can be. Avoid too much fried foods. Instead of frying, you can always bake. Some other meals you don't even need to add fat in it. Like the meats, they have their own fats. When you're preparing your meals, make sure you take care of the vitamin aspect of the meals, because we want to maximize reducing inflammation and making sure that our toxin excretions works well. Take up moderate protein. Protein is the nutrient that is basically tasked with repair. Cholesterol is also important in cellular repair. When you're working towards reducing inflammation and reducing toxicity, we also work towards repairing our damaged cells. The second lifestyle adjustment will be incorporating physical exercise into your day-to-day routine. People will give you all the excuses as to why they cannot work out. They get off work, they're so tired, they cannot even fathom working out. Their schedule cannot allow them to work out, but it's only 30 to 40 minutes a day. A day has 24 hours. Moderate exercise has been shown to increase HDL levels and lower triglycerides and improve the balance between the HDL and the LDL. Apart from that, exercise is great for your metabolic system and metabolic rate. It will help your body in controlling metabolic processes such as excretion, digestion, breathing. They'll be working effectively because of the 30 to 40 minutes a day, 4 to 5 times a week. It helps in controlling stress. Studies have shown that chronic stress is also one of the factors that cause increased triglyceride levels. Exercise is also great for controlling high blood pressure. There is a correlation between high blood pressure and heart attacks, heart complications. It also helps in the controlling of weight, reducing obesity, the central obesity. So when you're working out, you improve your metabolic health. Your body can utilize the energy that you're giving it. The other thing is quit smoking. There is no benefit of smoking. If you are a serious smoker, seek help. Look for a support system. Try as much as you can to work towards reducing smoking. Even with the good dietary practices, physical exercise, with the good sleep routines, the inflammation caused by smoking is already too much to cause those plagues. Seek help if you must, but try as much as you can to work towards reducing smoke. It's vape, it doesn't smell. No, it's equally bad. Or it's bang, it's equally bad. Stop smoking. The other thing is control your alcohol. Moderate consumption of alcohol is not so bad. Binging on alcohol, like taking up so much alcohol in one setup, is bad for your health, for your inflammation levels. It is bad for your metabolic health, for your triglyceride level, and it will reduce your HDL level. Apart from cirrhosis, it will also give you other metabolic complications that are associated with high triglyceride levels, such as heart failure, heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressures. So let's control alcohol. The other thing is a good sleep pattern. Giving yourself and allowing your body time to rest is very important. It will reduce the metabolic overload. This means that your body will have more time to excrete the toxins that it has before you can introduce new toxins. The other thing is control your insulin. Insulin sensitivity has been associated with so much goodness with the metabolic health. The other thing is adapt a low carb, high fat kind of diet. This diet has been associated with so much success in terms of controlling and improving the metabolic health, reducing the metabolic disorders, improving the markers, that is high triglyceride levels, high blood pressure, high blood sugars, central obesity. It doesn't have to be so hard. You just make sure that you include a fat source in all your meals. Prioritize taking up the fats first before you take up the carbohydrates, and then you limit all the sugars, sodas, processed foods like the noodles, the refined flour. Also increasing intake of soluble fibers such as the oats is very beneficial. Don't forget that. Takeaway note: in controlling cholesterol, we need to make sure that we do this. When you're also taking your drugs, you also incorporate these lifestyle adjustments. And please let me know in the comment sections what you have been doing about your cholesterol, what you would like us to address about your cholesterol, what you have learned, and what you might need to change about cholesterol. That was it from me, and thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and like and share. You can share with someone who has cholesterol, you can share with someone who has a parent with cholesterol, you can also share with someone who has any metabolic disorders, that is the high blood pressure, high blood sugar. The comorbid factor of disease is very serious when it comes to metabolic syndromes.